I'm glad week 3 is here. I'm ready to forget about week 2.
Well, I heard that. A lot of teams did a lot of great things last week, but man, I want to start off. It's 9/12, and my kid asked me something about 9/11 yesterday, and I was thinking back. My kids, they're reading about it in books now. So one of their tasks were to ask someone what they remember about that day, and my son asked me about it. And I was like, man, what's crazy is when I think back about it, I have very vivid memories of that day, and I could probably take you back to the exact same spot I was standing when I heard about it, because the reason I heard about it, somebody ran on the football field because we had football practice first period and said, man, we're under attack. And we all thought, like, dang, somebody's attacking the school. This is not too far after Columbine or whatever. So anyway, we get like, no, we're being attacked in New York City. And I'll always remember this. Coach Lamore gets our group of guys, and he's like, I was a junior at that time, and he's like, you boys ready to go to war? He said, 'cause it sounds like we're about to bring back the draft. And that hit me like, what? We're going to have to go fight somebody? Keep in mind, we didn't actually know what was happening. So fast forward an hour, and we get in a classroom, and we were able to see the replays and stuff on TV, and that's all we did that day. It was crazy.
Well,
Crazy.
I know for me, I was in the restaurant business at the time, and of course, technology's definitely changed from then. And I called my wife at home and just asked her to put our phone next to the TV, and I just kept my office phone on speakerphone for the next couple of hours and just listened to the carnage that was going on. And I saw something this past week, as far as talking about just, where we are today. And, it'd be nice if we all felt the way we did on 9/12. And
yeah.
just everyone coming together, everyone being on one team. But, for those that lost their life, definitely, remembrance of them. And, 9/11's a tough day for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Crazy time in our history, but yeah, I just couldn't believe, looking back on it, just how crazy it was, just trying to explain it to a 10-year-old, But anyway, in other crazy news, I got some real crazy news last night. Linden Kildare is on their 3rd football coach in 24 hours.
I saw that story and did not click on it, and you just got to wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, so it looks like the superintendent is taking over AD head coaching role, and that's wild. But for a Texas high school football team.
Well, and you hate that. You hate that for the young men and all those that are part of the program, because that's just going to be some adversity that they're going to have to get through over these next few weeks. And hopefully the coaching staff that's still there can step up and support those young men and get them at least prepared for district.
Yep. MVPs, man. Daquan Prevost, 10 receptions, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns. I was actually in house for that, man. It was wild to see in person. Absolutely went off.
Well, I know that the excitement is there for Liberty Ilo, and I think that this is a great time for them, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to be able to bring to Texarkana.
Alex Jones, defensive MVP. Texas High went up, played in Argyle, played Liberty Christian. He had a big night, took our defensive MVP role. But Liberty Ilo, man, they've taken our week 1 and week 2 MVP awards. Trip Basinger had a big week 1. And he had a big week again. It's just, man, when you go 10 for 258, you're going to get an MVP award.
Yeah, any time that you set a school record at Liberty Ilo, you've done something, because they've had some phenomenal athletes go through that program.
And speaking of Liberty Ilo, game of the week, Carthage comes up to play Liberty Ilo this week. And we had Liberty Ilo last night at Bubba's 33, and they're really, really excited about this game.
No, I actually watched that this morning. And you definitely can tell that there's definitely some joy going on, and enjoyed watching y'all's segment with Tripp and Prevost, and was it Johnson?
Yeah,
was with y'all, and those 3 right there. Those are going to be tough to
I
stop.
think that'd have been a problem in 4A this year, but dropping down to 3A Division I because they played 2 4A teams, and it's gone their way. You know, we know Pittsburgh's down. Henderson's just a large team in general. So, I don't know, man. They're going to be a problem. I'm really looking forward to the Atlanta game, and then turn right around a couple weeks later, that Jefferson game is going to be crazy.
Well, and one of the things that, you know, that Liberty Allo offense is going to be getting a lot of love, a lot of coverage, but, you know, that defense is going to hold their own. And so, I mean, Liberty Allo is really looking like they're having all facets of their team ready to rock and roll. And, you know, anytime with football, it's all about timing. So, you know, where are you going to have your team when you're going to be facing Jefferson, when you're going to be facing Atlanta? And then once you know where you are in the playoff seeding, are you going to be able to peak at that time? So Liberty Allo is going to be fun this year.
Yep. Man, shout out to them. Good luck tomorrow night. You know, man, let me tell you, I'm trying to think of upsets since we've started this, and I cannot think of anything that would compare if Liberty Allo were to take down Carthage tomorrow night. I think we'll be talking about that forever.
Well, Carthage has had an extra week to prepare because they couldn't fill week 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Carthage is 0-1, and that has not happened in 2,800 days, plus or minus a few.
Wow.
And granted, it was against Kilgore. Kilgore and Carthage are both picked to win state. But it's a different feeling that they're having to go through these last, and they've had an extra week to even think about it. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out.
Jet Surratt, the quarterback, not the coach. The quarterback is possibly injured. He may not play, but I don't know that is going to matter because, man, their workhorses are running back. So, man, we will see. I'm gonna have Liberty Allo TV is going to be streaming that game. They've had this scheduled for a while. It's going to be 100% student-ran production. It's the first time in Liberty Allo TV history. It's a short history for Liberty Allo TV. This is their 3rd year of the program with Ronald Makaramba running it. It's going to be 100% student-ran, which, if y'all don't know, that's very difficult to do. But you got to give these students an opportunity to learn, kind of trial by fire on this. But I'm really confident they know what to do. Ronald's a great audio-video teacher. But this is the game they picked, they wanted to do, and that's going to run on Liberty Allo TV, 100% student-ran. Good luck to the Liberty Allo TV crew. I'm definitely going to be watching. I'm gonna have it on there. And Chris Looney just gave Buddy Shelton a verbal warning. You just wait till we're not live. He's going to get talked bad too.
Hey, traffic, man.
There ain't no traffic in Hooks.
Man, that interstate.
There ain't no First off, I'm going to talk to you like Shannon Sharp talked to Ocho the other day.
All right.
You know what time we start. So why would you even cut it to 2 minutes? I don't get up early. Just so y'all know, like I have nothing to do till about 11 o'clock every day. So for me to be here at 7 a.m., I don't know that I can say I want to be. And I'm here early.
Man, it's that crazy.
And this is y'all's show. I don't understand. It's y'all's show.
Yeah. Hey.
Like, where's Ben at?
Oh, I have
This
no
is
idea.
your and Ben's show.
Hey,
Me and Jay have been showing up consistently for 5 years now. 5 years?
Ben's been looking for a local offense. So.
Yeah, Ben. I don't know. I can't even speak on Ben, but no, man. You know, I was running a little late this morning. Man, you know,
That's a quick way to get fired around here.
It is.
Listen, sometimes I'm looking for a reason not to do something. I'm looking for a reason at 6 a.m. on Thursday mornings not to do something. Y'all are making it easy on me.
Well, hey, man, no excuse. I was running a little late this morning. Traffic.
There ain't no Kate, lie to me. There's no traffic between here and Hooks.
Hey, man, just look at them busy streets out there. I mean, it's
Listen, nobody drove by here from the time I parked to the time you got here. Nobody drove on this road. Not one person. You were it.
Man, you know,
Buddy, I'm just glad you're here.
I know, man. I made it.
I was hoping he wasn't going to show up. I was hoping neither one of y'all were going to show up. So I'd be like, look, guys, this is it. I ain't doing this.
No, but hey, back to everything that y'all were talking about. Hey, just how big this would be for the Liberty Allo kids to win this game. It'll be a memory that they would talk about 20 years down the road. You know, something they would never forget.
Listen, it comes fourth quarter, and that game's close, I'm going to figure out a way to find my way over there.
Right.
I'm just letting y'all know. Like, hey, you're going to hear, wah, like, hey, just know that's me parked in the middle of the road over there by the field house. Like, nobody going to be able to leave, and I'm just running.
I plan on streaming that game while we're calling it, so
Hey,
it'll be fun to watch.
It's a tough task, but let me just say this, and no disrespect at all, but when this game was scheduled, I thought, I can't believe they're not playing someone else. And it never occurred to me, ever, that we would be sitting here on week 3
saying they had a chance.
Liberty Iowa has a chance against Carthage.
Right.
Think how crazy of a statement that would have been a year ago.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and you can't tell me coaching doesn't matter, because that's basically some coaching changes is what's changed.
Well, and what's so impressive, just listening to the show that y'all had last night, coaching staff there, as excited as they are, they're putting the success on the players, and there's even a time there where the coach said, "Hey, I even had a couple bad play calls," and I mean, when you've got a coaching staff that is that open and willing to talk to the players, with the players, be with the players, and own up to even maybe some things that they could do better. That's growth. I mean that's iron sharpening iron right there.
Well,
and you can just tell by listening to the kids last night on that takeover. Their slogan, "We believe."
Make them believe.
Make them believe. Yeah, make them believe. They're bought in. They're happy. Everything is exciting for them right now. So kudos to all them kids, the coaches. Man, I hope that, Liberty Iowa, I really want them to pull it out.
I think everybody does. Tripp, just notable numbers on the year: 565 yards passing with 105 rushing. My man's averaging over 330 total yards a game.
He's a dude.
He's accountable for 8 touchdowns. Prevo, 335 yards on the season, 4 touchdowns. Crazy. And I just want to remind y'all, we sat here week 1, and I said Prevo has all the intangibles, but we haven't seen it on paper.
Yeah.
Like, it's not transitioned to paper yet. He's got a quarterback. We said that would be the difference. It's turned into numbers. I'm excited for him. But moving right along, man, on mine I have Oklahoma State versus Arkansas. So let's just give this a touch real quick. I don't know why I put that in there, but I did. I was sent a graphic by someone, and whoever Dusty is, Dusty's defensive dudes. He has a picture of Nick Martin and Landon Jackson up there on national television, and mentions they both played for the same high school. I was at that game, got there early. Both teams were walking the field. I got to take a photo with the guys that started year 1 with here, plus Akari. And, man, it was a special moment for me. It was kind of a full circle moment. You want to see these guys go off and have, uber success, and how rare is it that the two faces of these teams played at the same school, played on the same team, graduated the same year, and we believed in Nick Martin. But the man really had 2 offers coming out of high school. Now, keep in mind, he was in the COVID year, so you got to keep that in mind. But let me tell y'all something. I'm not making this up. I'm not, hyping this bigger than it needs to be. Nick Martin is an actual star. That was my first time going to Stillwater, Oklahoma, which, by the way, shout out to Chris McCullough, Wholesale Electric. Gave me a ride up there. I was not going to be able to make that drive. Got to fly up there with them. It was great. But Nick Martin's Nick Martin to me. And everybody, Nick Martin has been and will always be my favorite football player. I love the way he plays football. I can still remember the very first time I was like, oh, my God, who is that kid? He murdered a kid on PG sideline against Paris. You probably remember it.
No.
This kid picked up a football that he had no business picking up. Nick Martin, that kid is still talking about, man, I'm telling y'all. He might have sent that kid to basketball that day. He murdered this kid.
Well,
I'm talking about murder, she wrote. This dude.
Well, if you go back and watch the film, I said that he was going to be in PE on Monday.
He probably did say that.
I 100% think Jay said that. No, probably Jay said that. But I remember that exact somebody had clipped that.
Oh yeah, no.
And then it was up, and then somebody took it. You had to take it because the people were griping about it.
I was holding my cell phone right there. I mean, it happened. Me and Tony Langford were standing beside each other. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was 4 feet in front of me, and I thought, he's not about to hit this kid. Murdered this kid. I remember Tony Langford going, "Oh my God!" Like, y'all know how Tony Langford talks. I was like, it was crazy, but fans cheering Nick's name.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Photos of Nick everywhere. This dude's a star. Like, it is unbelievable. There were people waiting on him in his locker room, like at his locker just to get there. Like, it's nuts. So crazy that Nick doesn't even wear his own like jersey to stuff. He just has to wear black shirts wherever he goes. Like when he's coming in the stadium, just so he doesn't get mobbed. Like, it's crazy. It's hard for me because he's just Nick Martin to me. Like, I know he's a great football player, but that's the first time I've ever seen. Like, we know Landon. He can't really go out to eat anymore. I've went out to eat with Landon. It's very difficult to do.
So So speaking on what you're talking about, what really opened my eyes about college football players off the field was the Johnny Manziel story on the Untold. When he couldn't go out in public no more, after the Alabama game, he just got mobbed, couldn't go see his parents, couldn't get to him, because just people were flooding him. So I know what you're talking about now, and watching from that Untold story to how they mobbed them,
Yeah.
I mean, that could be overwhelming to me.
I broke all kinds of rules. I'm just letting y'all know. I might not ever be welcome back to Oklahoma State as a credentialed media person because they made that tackle at the end of the game, and I was in that end zone. And I was just like,
yeah.
I was already on the phone like, Nick. He was right there. He started yelling at it. It was a cool moment, man. I love that dude, and Landon, let me tell y'all, man, Landon's going to have a tough season in front of him. Oklahoma State double-teamed him on every play. The quarterback would take a snap and roll away from him every play. Like, if that's the way it's going to be this football season for Landon, it's going to be a long year. And what I mean by that is, let me tell y'all, every single Oklahoma State coach only walked up to Landon Jackson. Like, man, I heard a coach say, we schemed everything to go away from you for nothing to happen. Like, that's a compliment, but it sucks.
Oh, yeah. It's a compliment because you're definitely afraid of him. You can't make your offense work going at him. So you go away from him and leave him with no stats.
Yeah.
They ought to make a stat for that. I mean, it's like they're scared of him or something. Scared stat.
I happened to walk in. 2 NFL scouts were right in front of me when we came in to get our credentials, and they were both there to see Landon Jackson. So, this will be his last year of college football for sure. I mean, I guess either way, it's going to be his last year. But he'll be an NFL player this time next year. But man, it was like I'm disappointed that that's happening. But
for sure,
you had to have. I mean, if he was at Georgia, he's probably not getting double teamed because you can't. But at Arkansas, he's getting double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to have a player of his caliber on the other end. No disrespect to any of those other players, but he would have went in the second round last year. So it's just there aren't too many Landon Jacksons walking around the planet. But anyway, Nick Martin, 16 tackles, 5 tackles for loss. Absolutely insane, man. I was almost in tears after that game just thinking about like how crazy this is.
And one thing I want to say about that, and I've never met Nick. I've just watched all of his stuff, everything that you've ever put out on him. And what some kids today could take from him is trust the process. If you look at pictures of him from high school to pictures you've taken and then the pictures you took this weekend, trust the process, man. I mean,
a lot of people don't know Nick almost dropped out of college. After that first year, because that first year of college football is the toughest year you're going to have. It's no longer fun playing football, but you're not even playing; you're just practicing. So anyway, man, shout out to Nick, shout out to Landon, shout out to all the players in the area that playing college football. But that was a special thing for me, and I actually have a photo printed right back there. I got to put up somewhere of me, Landon, and Nick and Akari pregame at Old Boone Pickens Stadium. But anyway, shout out Chris McCullough. Hey, happy birthday, Chris, by the way. Texas High, man, that's Jerry, dude. I feel like this dude's got to get us some frequent flyer miles or something. My God, we got to drive to Argyle, 3 times last week or something, and I didn't even know where Midlothian Heritage is. It's somehow further away than Argyle. And then got to go to Fayetteville next week.
Right.
I'm like, Jerry, you realize we got to go up the day before to be sure all this stuff, like everything is good to go, and then come back, then go up again, then come back. Like, Jerry, you're kind of doing us dirty, Jerry. But let me tell you what's not doing us dirty, Jay. It's Texas High's performance on the football field. It's insane.
We need the Tiger King on here to talk about them.
Well, if I'd have known y'all weren't going to show up,
Hey,
I would have made room for him. Trust me. Hey, believe this. One of y'all are getting kicked off. Tiger King's on here next week. I'm just letting y'all know.
Hey, I'm all for the Tiger King, and you know that.
Billy Lavender's like, somebody's getting kicked off this thing because I'm not about to keep doing this. Me showing up and Jay showing up and you showing up late.
That was one time.
Hey, Billy Lavender's watching. Billy, next Thursday, I'm kicking someone off. You're on. We got to do show up late. Had another dude not show up. Billy Lavender, next Thursday. By the way, Diamond Bank over here on Richmond Road, I went by and went to Billy's office yesterday. It's freaking awesome in there. They got murals everywhere. Billy's got a bunch of University of Texas stuff in his office. It's great.
No, the mural there is incredible, and it's good to see that he's coming over to the right side.
Yeah, he said he's tired of losing. Billy said he's tired of losing. He'll convert that Razorback tattoo into a.
And I think in their commercial he's wearing an orange bow tie. So I mean he's already got the colors.
Listen, if you'd have told me the day David Potter stepped up to play as a sophomore, came in, another quarterback was injured, he came in to play. If you would have told me, all right, you're going to be sitting 2 years from today, and you're going to be talking about David J. and saying he's throwing for an 80% completion rate to start the year in 2 football games, and 568 yards, 5 touchdowns, I would have looked at you like you were crazy.
Well, at the high school level, you've got coaches out there that normally have three different types of quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks that can't win you a game, and they will lose you a game.
Yeah.
And then you've got ones they're not going to lose you a game, but they're not going to win you a game. And then you've got one that can win a game. David J. Potter can go out there and win a game. And when you've got that type of athlete as your QB1 and then surround him with the skill players he has, there's nothing that can stop Texas High this year but Texas High.
David J., let me just give some credit. He goes to the quarterback schools, like, he prepares. I was talking to his dad earlier this week. I had no idea, like, he has a guy that helps him prepare and helps him learn how to watch film. But I got to give credit to Coach Stanford, Clint Toon. This is the 3rd straight quarterback, really the 4th, but I'm going to go with 4. All right, this is the 4th quarterback in a row that I've seen that has gotten unbelievably better every year. And I don't mean like, oh, they're a year older and they're just older than everybody else. Like, at the quarterback position, mentally you have to get better, and they now have I can vouch for it. Something they're doing, and I don't know what it is, but something they're doing is making great quarterbacks at Texas High. I mean, you look at Ryan Sellers. Ended up moving over to wide receiver, but the dude could play quarterback. Brayson McHenry, and I'm going blank on what's his son's name, number 10, going blank. Sorry, brother. But anyway, now we're at David J. And how quick and how fast they are getting better in the decision making. I don't know what they're doing, but it's amazing, and it's worth mentioning because they're so great. But hey, David J. this year, there's 3 plays where I'm like, okay, those were pass interferences. So really, he could be 33 for 39.
And I'm gonna say this, and I don't really.
Cody Reese, thank you, Billy. Sorry.
No, Billy would know.
Yeah, and I know. It's been a while.
Them good quarterbacks like that. We've already talked about one this morning with Tripp. Now we're on to David J. Them are special kind of kids. I mean, they live and breathe football. And it's not just during football season. It's all year. They're always doing something to get better. They're always watching film. They're always doing some footwork. I mean, that's all they're thinking about all the time is playing football. And that's what makes them stand out and be special. Versus, and not a slide to any other kid that is just your regular old quarterback that just plays quarterback during football season, then he moves on to baseball. Mm-hmm. They stick with it, and it's quarterback 24/7, 365.
Worthy to note, Javari Johnson, the SFA commit, I remember saying before the season started, he's got to be the number one option in that offense right now. 21 carries, 179 yards. He's averaging about 150 a game.
3 scores.
3 scores. And he had they said he had the flu during that game, but 37 carries, 289 yards on the season. I mean, like,
I couldn't tell he had the flu.
He's a great running back.
Oh, for sure.
And then add that with Tredarian only had 5 carries in that game, took one of them to the house. But Tredarian averaging about 70 a game, but he's really been more of a help in the passing game.
Wasn't that Tredarian's run where he ran in and the Midlothian guy come up and punched the ball out of his arm?
I guess I didn't see that.
Yeah, he come up behind him and, like, he had no way of catching him, but
Yeah.
when he got into the end zone, he come up and just punched the ball out of his.
Yeah, I think them kids were a little salty.
And you may be forecasting because they're playing Midlothian
Right.
this week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Yeah, Liberty
my bad.
Christian.
Liberty Christian. Sorry. I misspoke. But he come up behind him and punched the ball out. He wasn't going to catch him. It was due to aggravation.
Yeah.
Well, because that game was picked close, and I didn't think it was close at all.
Well, listen, we had them at Bubba's that week, and the private school stuff picked Liberty Christian to win, obviously.
For sure.
And then, obviously, the normal polls that everybody else uses picked Texas High to win. But that game, I mean, listen, you knew they were going to be able to play at least for a couple quarters because they have some dudes on that team. We can't act like they don't. But the difference is this is not to slight anybody, but if you're going to play private school football in Texas, just know you're not playing against the best talent Texas has to offer. Now, you can stack a team like Witten's done. They have a completely stacked team. But I want you to think they're playing, not a slight, but they're playing Trinity Christians.
Right.
They're playing schools like that, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of football. You choose to play that kind of football. Just know you're not playing the best talent this state has to offer. Now, those teams don't want to play them anymore
Well, they got a dose of it last week.
for obvious reasons.
Right.
Okay, now you're going to play a real football team, not a hand-picked team. Nobody wants to play you anymore. Now you got to play a real team. That's what happens when you play 5A and above football. Now, they had 14 Division I dudes, supposedly. I didn't see 14, but supposedly they have 14 Division I dudes and a Division I cornerback, which, by the way, guys, extremely rare. On paper, that didn't happen, evidently, because it looked the exact same stats dang near as the Tyler Legacy game.
Yeah, Texas High could do whatever they wanted to in that whole game.
Yeah, well, the first, I thought, all right, they'll be able to play for a while, but at some point it happens. Mm-hmm. At some point, we just have too many dudes, and it happened. But I think our ones were better than their ones anyway.
For sure. I mean, if you watch the game, you could tell. I mean, just
they were a good football team. We're just saying, listen, if they played in 5A Division I football, 5A Division II football, they just got basically blown out by a team.
Mm-hmm.
If they played 4A Division II football, they're probably playing for it. But when you get above that, I don't know that team has a state championship chance.
No.
So, anyway, Shad, they'll win the state championship in whatever TAPS is, but asterisk beside it, they're not playing big boy football.
Right. And just, I know it's early in the season, but man, you got to know. I mean, I just feel like Coach Stanford just has this smile on his face with the team that he's got this year.
He's got to keep the car on the road.
Yeah, keep the car.
He's got a Lambo right now, and he's got the RPMs up, and he's showing out.
Yeah,
he's just got to keep it on the road. Hey, you ain't even got to keep it in one lane. You just got to keep it on the road. Use the shoulders.
Yeah, keep it between.
Keep it on the road. Now, when you get to about week 3 of the playoffs, all right, we got to get this thing in one lane.
Right.
All right. You get to week 5. All right, coach. got to stay off the white lines, you know. But right now, this dude's doing donuts, 360s. I mean, he's pulling the emergency brakes, spinning it. You just got to keep it on the road right now.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, you see we see this in high school football every year. A team has a great quarterback. They have great receivers. They don't have no offensive line.
Yeah.
Or they have an offensive line and they don't have a running back to complement that. I mean, they kind of have a shortfall somewhere. But if you look at this Texas High team over the past 2 weeks, what they've done, who they've got, every aspect of the game, they have dudes in that spot.
Yeah, you know, Quay Ford received an offer from Georgia.
Sure did.
Earlier this week. Georgia don't offer very many players. And Coach sent it to me, and my response was like, oh, my God. Like,
yeah,
it's hard, guys. Like, it is difficult. Not too many players get an offer from Georgia. Tredarian has an offer from Georgia. He's offered by everybody in the country, but this offer from Georgia, I have a feeling you're about to see graphic after graphic after graphic come out about Quay because he's about to get offered by everybody. If Georgia offers you, because Georgia's normally, all right, we're going to wait till it's time to make a decision. We'll offer you, and you're like, oh, that's the biggest offer. I can't believe Georgia offered me. If they're offering you early, like, hey, if you're on their radar as a young player, it's serious. And number 4 ranked Texas High Tigers, man, they are loaded with talent. Like, I don't know that I've seen an offense this loaded possibly outside of maybe Duncanville or North Shore during their runs, maybe South Oak Cliff 2 years ago. I don't know that I've ever seen an offense this loaded. And I'm talking from linemen, great quarterback play, 2 Division I running backs.
For sure.
Cam Reitner, Shavonte Montgomery, Knox Pilgrim, Mr. Surehands in the middle. This is crazy. Knox is possibly a 1 receiver on any other team in East Texas.
So here's the deal with Knox. You know, last week? What did he have? 1 catch for 30-something?
He's not getting a ton of targets.
He's not getting a ton.
Like, look at it, and you almost can't. Like, I kind of feel bad for him. He's not getting a ton of targets. The thing is, he's an unselfish player. He's a baseball player.
Very much so.
But he's a great target to have, and man, it's just going to take time. I've talked with Stanford about this. It's just going to take time. They have to start cheating those safeties out. They have to. And they haven't really even started throwing the ball downfield very much yet. But the second they do, Knox is going to have one of these breakaway games with 150 yards receiving on 4 catches and 2 touchdowns or something crazy like that. Like, thing with Knox is he's going to be there. He'll be prepared when you need him. And he's not going to complain about getting, 1 target a game that he's getting right now.
Right.
But
no, and I'm not saying that as Knox is complaining, but what I mean by that is they haven't had to utilize him so much yet, and it's going to come where they're going to have to target him more later you get in the season. But hey, you get targeted 1 time and you make that catch. I mean, what did you call him? Trusty hands a while ago?
Sure hands. I mean, he can catch the ball at any time. So, I mean, it's just dangerous. They're dangerous in all aspects of the game. Notable other numbers on that. Cam Reitner playing against a Division I cornerback had 5 receptions for 65 yards. Now, that dude was all over him. Like, he had 5 catches, but he was getting tackled as soon as, the dude was on him. I mean, there was nowhere to go. There was no turning, making a move. The dude was actually a pretty good defensive back. Tredarian, 5 catches, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 total on the night. T-Ball's averaging 188 all-purpose yards per game. That does not include special teams, but it's nuts. Absolutely crazy. So 285 passing yards a game on average for Texas High, 250 rushing.
Well, what I thought was unique about this week is, whenever you did put the stats out for Texas High, we talk about this offense. You had more defensive players with stats out this week. I mean, they're just they've got everything going for them.
Yep. Alex Jones, once again, our defensive MVP for week 2. Man, had a great game. 10 tackles, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, 2 pass breakups. Absolute menace on the football field.
If you're a Texas High fan, if you don't already have a hotel in Dallas on the night of December 20th, you're probably going to be driving back.
Is that how late it is this year, December 20th?
Yeah.
man, I thought it was around the 15th or 16th. I might have to reschedule something that I'll randomly go in. I have like this thing scheduled on my Google thing, and if a flight gets below a certain dollar amount, I'll automatically just buy it. And you know where I like to go. So I like to go to Montana, and it's that time of year where I like to be up there. I thought it was like, I didn't even look. I just saw I could fly to Bozeman, Montana for $235 from Texarkana, Texas, or Arkansas. Like, yep, booking that. I guess I'm going to be out $235. Is what it is. All right, Texas High's upcoming schedule, Midlothian Heritage this Friday. Then they travel all the way to play Fayetteville. Yeah, I will not be making that trip. Got Hallsville at home, White House away, Marshall at home, Mount Pleasant away, Jacksonville at home. Finish the regular season off with at Nacogdoches. I will not be there again. I hate going to Nacogdoches. Absolutely hate it. Hate everything about Nacogdoches. Hate the stadium. They do us dirty down there. Have you called a game down there yet?
I don't think so.
Dude, they make us like sit on top of a portable building that's elevated in the air to do a game. It's so dangerous. Like, y'all have no idea what these schools put us through just to
So you're not even in the real
y'all.
press box?
We're on top of the fake press box.
On top of the fake press box.
Dude, it's dangerous. Like, lighting's it sucks. I wish they'd just kick them out of
I know
Texas
you hate
football.
Hallsville. You got bad taste in your mouth for Hallsville.
Yeah, man, they just
And now Knacks in there with a close second.
well, they got I know that old stadium they have is supposedly historic. I don't care, man. The Tomato Bowl or whatever, they got freaking bulldoze that thing down.
Yeah, I remember who played a playoff game last year.
It wasn't 2 years ago. Texas High played there. I told Coach that I ain't coming. I don't care, dude. I ain't going down there.
Somebody played in the Tomato Bowl last year in a playoff game, and people were griping about it.
I mean, they maybe they don't have the money to replace. They got. I mean, it might have some history, but
How did it get the
does not make it not trash.
Who knows about why it got? How did it get the name of the Tomato Bowl?
I don't know. I don't really care. I ain't never going. They got me. They got me there one time, and that was one time too many. I ain't never going again.
Somebody will
They
tell
play a
us.
state championship there, and I ain't going. Anyway, shout out to these new Boston players. Will Irwin, 2 receptions last week, 43 receiving yards and a touchdown. I was wondering, like, why are we keeping up with interception return yards? Case and Camel, 5 receptions, 81 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Justin Allen, 8 of 19, 194 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. And Ashton Rowden, 25 carries, 270 yards, 2 total touchdowns. Brought to you by Rip England and Wes Frazier. Shout out to those guys. Shout out to New Boston, man. I actually passed their buses on my way back to Texarkana
Right.
this last Friday night. I don't know where they were coming from,
Shelbyville.
why they were using that particular route, but
Shelbyville.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, also, Falk plays Genoa this week. Rivalry's back on. Falk had a running back go for 208 yards on 18 carries last week, 2 touchdowns. Genoa's in rebuilding mode, starting a ton of sophomores. This is a senior-heavy Falk class.
So they went from 6 man back
Eight
to
man.
11.
Eight
8 man
man.
back to 11 man.
8 man back to 11 man. They're in rebuilding mode. They're starting a bunch of sophomores. Look for them in a couple years to be a problem. Falk's got a really good football team.
Dylan Sprayberry is the problem.
Yeah.
Falk is definitely going to be able to run the ball.
So good luck to both of those teams tomorrow night. You don't get to play in too many rivalry games, so have fun with it. But speaking of, I wouldn't call this a rivalry game because I don't know that they've ever played each other. I'm sure they have. I just don't remember it. But Dangerfield is at PG. I had circled this game on the schedule and was really excited about it, and it's lost some of its luster because who would have ever thought Dangerfield would have started 0-2?
No, they've had a tough go of it. Tatum? They got beat by Tatum.
Beat by Tatum, lost to Gladewater the first game, which keep in mind both of these schools are division or 2 divisions up is in Gladewater. So, they're bigger schools. They're not supposed to win, but the lack of offensive production has been mind-boggling. It was described to me as they're going for home runs on every play.
Well, Chase Johnson, their quarterback, threw for over 3,000 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that defensive front for Pleasant Grove is going to have a fun game. I think Dangerfield's going to throw it anyway, but I do think that Pleasant Grove, it's homecoming week for them. So, I mean, they're coming off a loss. So, I mean, it's going to be a big week for Pleasant Grove to come out and sort of find their identity offensively.
Yeah.
But that defensive line for Pleasant Grove may have a very, very fun night with as many times I think Dangerfield's going to put the ball up.
Well, if you're in town, it's going to be a fun night. If you're a football fan, Pleasant Grove opens. I keep calling it the new stadium. I don't know why I'm calling it the new stadium.
Everything's new.
They open up the new stadium. All right, new turf, new field house.
New Jumbotron.
New Jumbotron. Matt Fry and staff did a great job on that. Shout out to everybody who had anything to be involved with on that. But opens it up for their first home game in the new stadium.
The Little League had an opener before the high school.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Hooks on that. I heard they played really well.
They did.
Yeah, I heard there's some kid that just tore everybody up.
Yeah, he's a pretty good little running back.
Okay. So I'm noticing how you ain't mentioning any names. But I was trying to set you up to talk about it. But if you ain't going to mention any names, all right, I understand. But it's going to be a great environment. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this. I had plans on doing a pregame show, just talk about let everybody talk about the stadium. We're going to have to move that back. They have homecoming that night. There's just too many moving parts for it to work and us not have to start at 4 o'clock or something. So
the booth ain't going to be there.
No, can't do the booth. I mean,
Yeah.
we in theory could, but we're cutting it close. Like it would get in the way of homecoming.
Right.
So like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like all it takes is one little thing to go wrong, and homecoming's not on. Like the game would probably be on, homecoming would not be on. I know it's important to those girls, so want to do right by them. So no pregame there, but show up to the stadium. Get there early. Homecoming starts at 7. I'd recommend getting there by 6.
It's
6:15. It's not hot. It feels good outside.
Oh, for sure. And no slide against homecoming, because homecoming does bring a big crowd. But this game is also going to bring a big crowd too.
Yeah, I'm not as excited as I was
and
5 months ago when I heard about it, but
so I've watched both the Dangerfield games, and I know they're coming in here 0-2. I know they got some things to clean up, but they also can strike at any time. I mean, they had, with Chase back there, they got some receivers that can run, and I'm talking, when I say run, they can move. If the offensive line, if they continue to get better, if they can give him just a little bit of time to sit back there and throw that ball, it could be a little dangerous. But Pleasant Grove size.
Yeah, I just don't think that's possible, man. Like, listen, we know how good Lance is. Like, we don't even have to sit up here and tell y'all know who Lance Jackson is. But B.J. Rochelle, coming from the nose tackle position at 16 tackles and 3 tackles for loss at a nose tackle position, are you kidding me?
I would hate to be a center and
That's in one game.
I have to walk up there and
Dude, if he was 6'2",
yeah,
this dude's going to Georgia.
And had Pleasant Grove won, I think it would have been tougher for you to make that defensive MVP call.
Oh yeah. Listen, we've had a long-standing rule from day one. To be considered for an MVP, your team has to win. And I know sometimes that's unfair. It obviously was not B.J. Rochelle's fault that Pleasant Grove didn't win that game. But that's been a long-standing rule. We've had it for 5 years now. I'm just not going to change it. Agree or disagree, I'm sorry. We made the rule initially. We're just not going to change it. So, yes. And he had a sack. I mean, from that, oh, my God. If he was a linebacker, he'd have double everything.
right.
I mean, that would be – that's nuts. I mean, he had more tackles than Lance.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
well, you got to understand, team. They do the same thing they do to Landon with Lance. Teams scheme away from him, and that's just going to happen all season. And like you said, like Landon's going to have a rough year.
And Jalen Foster says, keep doing it.
Keep doing it, But
Yeah.
the people just do that because who wants to run at the Texas recruit?
Yeah. I get it. I want to give a shout out to Brody Watts, though, man. Dude had 13 carries. He's actually leading the team in carries this year with 20, averaging 5 yards a carry.
He's a tough kid.
He runs really hard.
Tough kid.
Well, he had some runs that the last 4 or 5 yards against Paris that he was just getting annihilated, but just able to power through. His strength per pound, I'll put him up against any running back.
Oh, for sure. Hey, and back, I guess we got to go back 2 weeks when he was playing Atlanta. Morgan, I think you filmed this on your cell phone. I mean, he's just getting popped, and it knocks it. I don't know if it broke his chin strap or whatever happened, but it knocked his helmet off. He had 4 or 5 Atlanta guys just pounding on him, and he's still churning his feet, moving. And Morgan's like, "Brody, you all right?" And of course, he's like, "Oh yeah, let me get my helmet. I gotta go back in." Just a gritty kid.
Well, one of the things that Pleasant Grove has going is heart and soul. And at the end of that game, the player that left it out on the field and had his heart broken, Jamarian Richardson. The end of the game had 2 phenomenal plays, just came up short, but he took that as his own, and I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to produce the remainder of this season.
Yeah, they got to clean it up on offense. Like, listen, we can't sit up here and act like it didn't look bad, because it did. I mean, on the season, 24 passing yards, 665 rushing. They got in the red zone, gosh, how many times?
Too many.
Too many times.
The identity has to be, evident soon.
Yeah.
And just so that they can have that confidence to make that district run.
Listen, 11 turnovers in 2 games, 8 fumbles. I mean, this is not something I'm used to seeing, especially out of that particular school. They just got to, they got to get it cleaned up. And I mean, what we know about that coaching staff is they will get it cleaned up. I think we'll see a new look Friday night. And I just would have never guessed, but the thing is, man, this defense has yet to give up a touchdown.
And there's one thing that I do know, and I'm going to get some flack about this from some of my Hooks buddies, but there's one thing I do know about Pleasant Grove kids. Man, they don't get down and quit. They keep on driving. I mean, they will. I mean, they're just gritty. It's not like they took that loss last week and there's our season. No, they're going to build off of that, and like you just said, they're going to come back this week. You're going to see something different. You're going to see them play hard this week, because they got to up that loss. So
yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting.
I would hate. Dangerfield's in a bad spot right now.
Yeah,
I thought Pleasant Grove was going to win last week. Dangerfield thought they was going to win last week. Now they took a L. They're upset. They got to write that L, and they're going to write that L on Dangerfield.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. It'll be an exciting night. Be sure to be there. Upcoming schedule: they have Dangerfield at home this Friday. Obviously, next week they go to Kilgore. Sunnyvale comes to them on the 27th. They'll have a bye week. Then they go to North Lamar, and they're going to go to Spring Hill on the 18th, and then there's a showdown with Gilmer at home, which is almost always for the district championship. We got Pittsburgh and then Van to finish off the regular season. I talked to Coach Gibson a couple days ago, and man, they spent all weekend working on it. So nobody's more prepared than them. So we'll see what happens. I kind of would hate to be Dangerfield this week if things are clicking for Pleasant Grove, because I gotta get some confidence back.
Yeah, and it's going to happen. I mean, Jay, you and Matt going to be on the call?
Absolutely. And I think this week, it's going to be about finishing every single play, doing your job, and playing to the end of the whistle. So,
moving right along, man. Jefferson at DCAB.
Who wants to talk about that?
Well, Coach Taylor's got a really good football team, but
he does.
DCAB has a good football team as well.
Awesome.
So Jefferson, I don't know how they're not in the top 10 yet.
I don't either.
I know they played a not so great opponent week 1. Newton still carries weight. The name Newton still carries weight, whether they're good or not. But they've been dominating wins.
So they played Leonard, and nobody knows who Leonard is. and they
Right.
smash them. Then they come back and play Newton, smash Newton. Now we're on to the DeKalb game.
But I think it bodes well setting up Jefferson to not be ranked right now.
Oh, for sure.
It allows the coaches to coach, and no one's looking at articles, no one's looking at stories. We're all starting to talk about them, so it's going to happen. Right now it's allowing the coaches to be able to coach those boys up and getting them ready for each week. And we talk about the culture, and it's a lot easier to build that culture when you don't have as many eyeballs and folks looking at you. And so I think it's just a perfect storm for Jefferson right now.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a matter of time before the talking heads out there give them the praise and recognition they need. Yeah,
and it's always good to not have a target on your back too. So you got that. This is say teams with them high rankings. They got a target on their back when they play a team that's not ranked. The team that plays them, they ain't got nothing to lose. They're wanting to knock you off so they can say, yeah, we beat the number ranked so and so team.
Yeah.
So coming in not ranked is something good for them. They're under the radar. Very well coached. New coach. Pretty much knew everything, man. They redid the whole field house, brought in some good coaches. Trey Carson's over there.
I've always made a statement that I guess looking maybe kind of untrue now. I still kind of believe it, but I guess I need to modify my statement. My statement's always been, I don't care who you are. If you don't have dudes in Texas high school football, you're just not going to be good.
Right.
All right. Now, I've seen 2 coaching changes this year that they have some dudes there, but the change has been so drastic that I feel like I have to modify my statement that a great coach can come in and show immediate results as long as you have some talent.
Mm-hmm. That's true. True.
But sometimes I don't even know if I'd modify it. I still kind of believe that. Sometimes there are just some teams you're just not going to win with. There shouldn't be this huge expectation, And y'all know how hard it is on these players in Texas high school football. It's a big deal.
And so it's I don't even really know how to explain this, but you say the coach that left, and he's not a bad coach. You just needed, I think what they needed was a new culture, and they brought in a new culture. And the kids needed new life. They needed new, I don't even know, new goals maybe. I don't know. But whatever these 2 coaches have done, they've got the kids bought in. They've got slogans, and they're doing it.
Yeah, I think everybody knew Coach Taylor was going to have a lot of success wherever he went. I'm hoping at some point in time we see him back here in Texarkana. Listen, he's got a Texarkana coaching staff.
He does.
Trey Carson.
Big pressure.
Think about being a kid. You're in Jefferson, Texas. Trey Carson shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be your coach.
And your running back.
Yes.
Right.
Dude, I think really, really highly of Trey.
Oh, for sure.
Trey's been great to us, been great to Game Day, been great to all the kids in our area. I think really highly of Trey. And just a matter of time. Look at Trey. He left a program because he didn't believe in the way it was going. And nobody can say Trey's not a good coach. You know what I mean? So it's it's just crazy. I'm excited for Jefferson. I'm hoping, I guess, if they're on December 20th, we're looking at December 18th to see Jefferson playing in AT&T Stadium. That would be cool, but I'm sorry, Ty. I'd rather see Liberty Island play. Maybe I'm playing with the 4th round.
Hey, that's going to be a good matchup. If that matchup,
Yeah. Hey, listen. It's just so crazy how fast things can flip. This offense Liberty Ilo's running, that's a problem. That is a problem at 3A, in the 3A level, because, dude, what are the chances you have one great cornerback?
Hey, listen, you're going to have to outscore them.
Oh, I know. That's my point. And then what are the chances at 3? You have 2 great cornerbacks. What are the chances that you have 3 great defenders. You
At
know,
that
and,
level,
and
you
what I
don't.
saw the other night, they double covered Prevo. It didn't matter. Coach was like, "No, y'all gonna stop this slant route now."
Right.
Like it. I thought when they pulled the dude over the top, and I thought they did it a little late. They should have done it before they did. But by the time he had already done them dirty and they moved him over, he still scored again. Like it's crazy.
So it took some time for Henderson, from the guys in the press box, to get on that headset, to talk to the guys down there on the sideline, to tell them what was going on, and for them to call a timeout, pick a time to call a timeout, and tell them what to do. It's too late. It's too late.
Well, that was one of the best games I've seen in person. That was a fun game to watch. Tripp right there at the end fighting for the first down.
He's a tough kid.
Yeah, man, it was it was awesome.
What's the running back? Collins? What's his name?
Jaquan
Is it Johnson?
Johnson.
Sorry. And he's just as dangerous if you're not trying to throw it.
Yeah.
You know.
He had 15 for 116 yards, but man, like Henderson was big.
That's
like
what,
even pregame, I'm like, dang, dude.
Hey, so last night in the takeover, that was, I think Tripp said that. Tripp or Prevo said, "Man, when we got there, them dudes are big."
Yeah.
You know.
And I thought, you know, I just have to look at things different. You know, I can't just look at skill players. I'm just looking at linemen like they have a lot more players than Liberty Ilo. And you thought at some point that's going to matter in the line play, and it really never did. I mean, Liberty Ilo has a good offensive, which we have not been able to say that in a long time, that they have a good offensive line. And defensive line staff, I mean, this is maybe something special brewing over there in the Alu. Or what is Earl Gill called? The island. Maybe something special brewing over there in the island. I accidentally talked about it earlier because I didn't see it down here, but Falk at Genoa Central. Let's give that a recap real quick because I'm sure some people tuned in just to hear that. Genoa Central is back on. Genoa Central is going to be bringing in a really young team. And
First year back in 11-man ball.
Yeah.
And so they played 11-man. And I can't remember what
they went down to 8-man.
they went back to 8-man.
And I don't remember who they were playing. I know they had to travel quite a bit
for sure.
to play 8-man and back up to 11-man. But man, do they got a tough go at it? Dude, they're having to play some squats. I mean, coach is doing what's right though. I mean, it depends how you look at it. I mean, I have no issue with starting a bunch of sophomores personally. You know, plan for the future. And, you know, Falk comes in with a really good football team, a senior-heavy team, with Sprayberry at running back, a good coach. I don't see any reason. I just don't see Falk walking out of there without a dub. But, you know,
Genoa did win the last matchup, though.
Yeah, and I actually remember that. I don't know how I remember it, but I do, because the trash talk's amazing on that. I mean, it's almost like a T-High, Arkansas High thing. But, you know, I'm glad we got at least one rivalry. Thank you, Falk Genoa. At least we got one rivalry happening. We'll have Tracy Rogers there, TR Photography. He also works with Game Day. He'll be getting us some photos to show on Saturday of that. But, you know, probably isn't going to be the best football game slated, but Falk's a really good football team. I mean, like, Falk could be playing for it all.
And Genoa's had an extra week to prepare because they did not have a game last week. So you've got to think there's a couple wrinkles that they've added just for Falk.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
you know, hey, listen, it's great for everybody if these games are close and winnable. Like it just is. But I'm like, just set the expectation. Just Genoa team is young. They are young, inexperienced. Not saying they can't play football. I'm just saying they're young. Like I'm going to take a senior-heavy class over sophomores 100% of the time. You know, so good luck to Falk this year, man. I'm kind of excited to see what y'all go do. Keep grinding. Sprayberry, shout out for that great game last game. And good luck this Friday to Genoa and Falk. Who's Texas got this week?
UTSA.
Good luck to them because they're going to need it. This Texas team is good.
Hey, so I know I rag on a lot of my friends about being Texas fans, but man, they're just so big and
It's
so
not
good.
too late to jump on board.
Listen, we will accept you if you right now Admit this is a bandwagon follower. I need you to admit it right now, and we will accept it.
Oh no, I'm not going to say all that, but
Why not?
I don't want to be a bandwagon. But after
If you're gonna be a fan, you got to go all in. Be a fan.
watch them. I watch them for sure. But man, the offensive line is just so huge. I mean, the receivers are so quick. I mean, they're. At first I was saying Georgia was going to come to Austin and just stomp them. I don't think that's going to be the case now.
Listen, I'm trying to get my credential to that game quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Right.
Hadn't been approved yet, Texas. But really isn't any great games. I'm sitting there. I mean, you got Arizona at Kansas State. It's a couple of ranked teams. I think there's Boston College and Missouri's ranked 6. I didn't even know that. How's that possible? Oklahoma State stays at 13. They're going to play Tulsa. Really nothing great happening Saturday college football. What's wrong with y'all?
It's that throw-off week where everybody plays their
Man, I hate they do
in-state little school.
I mean, I know you got to support them.
Yeah.
Get some money
Makes
in there.
them some money.
But hold up with them boys. How about them Cowboys?
This is the year. Is that what we always say? Is that what we always say?
So me and
Dak got paid, that's for sure.
me and the guy that runs Phone Pros, Brandon, we sat down last week and we were like, okay. I was like, give me the schedule and we're gonna write down wins and losses. I had them down for like 5 straight losses somewhere in there. I have them going like 8-9 or something like that. And all right. So I'm a realistic dude. All right. So I'm like, all right, we're probably not going to win that. We're not going to win this. We're definitely not winning this. Guess what? All right. So I had him at 8-9 or something like that. Guess what he had him at?
11.
No, he had him at like 12-5 or something. I'm just like,
bro,
he's the delusional Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we ain't like, no. He had like us beating San Francisco or something. Like, dude, that ain't happening. Like, ain't happening. Which, by the way, I'll be at that game. I'm doing that game, and it might be the week before or the week after, I'll be doing the Chiefs at 49ers game as as
I do love the Cowboys, though, man. I mean, I do. They're a total letdown every year. I mean, that's just our slogan. This is the year. This is our year. We're back.
Well,
but no, we're really not back.
That's the thing, man. Like, none of this matters until the playoffs. And it's like, you can't say we don't have – if you're judging everything on success of winning a Super Bowl, well, there's only 5 successful teams in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's well, maybe it's 6. But I think off the top of my head, there's been 5 Super Bowl winners because I always forget about Tampa Bay. But that's it. Like, so I don't know, man. Like,
did you watch any of the Saints game?
Dude. Been the hardest game in the world to watch. What are you talking about? Nobody's watched that game.
Hey, man, I thought the Saints looked pretty.
Playing trash opponents.
Well, I mean, I get that, but man,
don't be hyping up the Saints.
I'm
on
not.
The show.
So listen, I'm definitely not a Saints fan, but I
is Jameis Winston on a roster somewhere?
I don't know.
He should be.
But
he's on the Cleveland Browns. He's on the Cleveland Browns. He's probably about to start. Man, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, they have some dude with the pocket protector in a room right now going through every single line of Deshaun Watson's contract, trying to figure out how to get out of this deal.
Oh, for sure.
They made. And that dude with the pocket protector is going to find it. He's going to figure out a way. They are trying their best to get rid of this dude. Not only has he been accused, I have been accused again. That's almost has nothing to do with it. It gives them an out to finally be like, oh my God, this dude's trash.
Right.
We have got to get rid of him.
What?
It only comes out to let's figure out a way to get out of this contract.
The people of Cleveland, I mean, they have been so let down for so long.
And then Baker Mayfield goes and he's balling. Like, listen.
That is the miss of all misses right there of them letting him go.
Tom Brady himself in his prime was not going to win as a Cleveland Brown.
No.
Make that statement, send it to whoever you want to. I'll argue with anybody. And I got talking points about it. Like, nobody is going to win as a Cleveland Brown quarterback in the last 25 years. You could dang near say 50. But for sure, last 25 years, nobody's winning. Like, take anybody you want. Blend them together with 3 dudes. They're not going to win. It's a culture thing. One player. You just ain't going to do it. I don't know. There's been years that you're like, what year was it that we were like, man, Cleveland's pretty good? The year that they kept like hitting walk-off field goals to win games. I mean, it's been a while. But even that year, they turned out sucking.
If you get traded to Cleveland,
Justin, you're talking about, all right, when you say win as a Browns QB, their expectation up here is got to win a Super Bowl to be a winner, evidently. So if that's their expectation, no, zero chance that any quarterback's winning as winning a Super Bowl with the Cleveland Browns. In the last 20 years, take any one of them teams you want, it was not going to happen.
My homie Looney says, stick with them hogs, makes you mentally stronger.
That's tough.
Ooh.
That's very tough. Pittman walked right by me when he came off the field. That dude looked like he was about to cry.
You blew a 21-point lead.
Listen, man, they're early. I was like, dang. Somebody behind me literally said, SEC's just different. I heard them say it. They were arguing with somebody in the stands, and those stands are like right on the field.
Hey.
And I literally looked up, couldn't see them because the wall's so high, but I heard them say it. The SEC's just different. You know, like all right.
Hey, I text my dad in the second quarter, and I said, Gundy has got to get in that drawing book at halftime. And my dad texted me back and said, it ain't over yet. And I kind of thought, yeah, it pretty much is. Hey, that second half, oh my gosh.
Very rarely, regardless of what the score is it tough for you to see an Arkansas fan already getting excited about a game? They could be up by 21 points, and there's always that.
Well, I bet you the chat rooms were exploding.
There's still a chance.
Oh my God,
There's still a chance that we're going to give this one back up to them.
Listen, I hate it for Landon. I hate it for Akari.
Oh.
You know, we knew they weren't going to be very good. But I will say this: that quarterback is good.
Hey, at the end of the day, they're still playing SEC football, and they're on a huge school's roster, and they're playing football. I mean, that's still a big deal.
Oh, I know, but I mean, it's just I'm listening.
You want them on a winning team.
Landon lost. Let's see. He was on the 17 team as a freshman.
Yes.
Didn't lose a game. 18 team. What did they lose? 2 or 3 games?
3, I believe.
Okay. The 19 team lost 1 game. The 20 team, he didn't play the entire season. Got hurt at Pittsburgh. So maybe he's lost 5 to 7 football games in those 4 years. Goes to LSU. We don't even really count the first year because I think he played a kickoff or something. Then you go to Arkansas. He's not used to this.
Mm-hmm.
Landon's not used to this, you know. So it's got to be hard. It's got to be.
KJ Jefferson is 2-0.
Ugh. Yeah. He's at UCF, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, shout out to whatever. They have the weirdest looking mascot of all time. I don't even know what he is. Spartan or something. What are they?
The Knights, I thought.
Oh, the Knights. That's close enough. Close enough. Yeah. Close enough. Let's see. What else we got? Somebody else is playing, and I'm trying to remember who it is. Longview, South Oak Cliff. Dang, I'd almost forget that.
Oh, yeah, that is this week.
Yes. South Oak Cliff is coming to play the Longview Lobos in Longview. Your boy's not going to be there. Don't let me down, Pleasant Grove. Don't let me down. I'm coming over there. Longview's playing South Oak Cliff. South Oak Cliff's really good.
Oh, yes, for sure.
South Oak Cliff's really good. Longview got their offense together last week against Marshall. But I saw the funniest comment. And I don't even really talk trash online. Like, I know better. I just don't. I don't need any trash talk. I do document it. All right? But let me tell y'all what someone else said online. I'm reading through the comments on Longview Game Day. And Longview put up a bunch of points. Like, everything worked for them. And it was like Marshall Maverick Booster something. Like, somebody made an account with their name, but he called Marshall Maverick Booster their name. And it said, I'm going to quote him to the best that I can remember, nothing can make a stagnant Longview offense look good like the Marshall Mavericks. So remember the week before they won like 7-3 against Lufkin or something, like didn't do very well. And it was the funniest comment. I sent that around to a bunch of people. But anyway, all right, guys. So game's on Friday night on game day. Dangerfield at Pleasant Grove. Texas High at Midlothian Heritage. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. Those graphics will come out today. We'll have them for you. Liberty ILO will be on Liberty ILO TV. 100% student ran this week. Be sure to go tune in there, support it. We'll share it, so it'll be easy to click on. That's going to be on Liberty ILO TV. Longview, South Oak Cliff at Longview will be on Longview Game Day, but will also be on our YouTube channel, so you can switch for us on game day between 3 channels. Liberty ILO game will be
Please
on Liberty
subscribe.
ILO TV. Yes, man. Y'all subscribe to freaking YouTube.
Click the subscribe button.
Y'all are doing me dirty every week. Every week we get on there, and it's like, oh, the page has had hundreds of thousands of views, and it's 99% non-followers.
Can you make it where you can't watch it unless
We need to put a banner at the top of the feed.
Well, the people have to get out and then click it, and it's like, or they're not signed in to their YouTube page. I guess I don't know what the deal is, man. Like, y'all just, if you type in Texarkana on YouTube, Texarkana Game, if you type in TEXA, Texas is going to pop up. The second you type in R, Texarkana Game Day pops up. So we're being searched for more than anything else.
Right, for sure.
With that. So it's like, why are y'all not just subscribed?
Just subscribe.
Please, y'all would
Hit
be
the
helping me
subscribe
out
button.
tremendous. We don't make any money on YouTube or anything, but I like to see the followers go up. Damn, we're in year 5 with like 13,000 YouTube followers. How's this possible, dude? YouTube's tough. Anyway, appreciate you guys for watching today. Thank y'all for supporting the kids. Get out this Friday. Go sit in the stands. Watch the other games on your phone while you're there. Enjoy Friday nights. It's going to be a cool one. Anything?
Go to the games. I think all three schools in Texas. I'm calling them all winning by at least 21.
I agree with that. I can get behind that a little bit. Like they've said, get out and support these kids. Go to some game. Hooks is on a bye, so I'm thinking I'm going over to Pleasant Grove Dangerfield game. But I will have my phone on the South Oak Cliff Longview game just to check that out. And I wish I could go there, but just when you got such a good game so close to home, stay here. But yeah, support these young men, women, and also support Liberty ILO with their first stream for their Liberty ILO TV.
Liberty ILO TV, Ronald Makaramba and his crew. I'm excited for y'all. Hey, these fans can be vicious. Be sure it's good. All right, that's it for us. Thank you, Donovan Brown, super producer.